This is another viewer request. It's a fascinating case, but it requires us to set aside our contemporary morality and see things from the perspective of a 1920s judge. The case concerned a travelling pantomime show. Such shows often included musical acts and short sketches from famous plays, but also what were called freak shows, including people with dwarfism and other congenital abnormalities. Performers in these shows were usually very economically vulnerable to exploitation by the managers of the shows, and those managers were often unscrupulous. Various groups of employees within the theatre industries formed guilds and unions for the protection of those vulnerable workers. At this time, the Actors Association fixed the minimum wage for chorus girls as £2 10 shillings per week. However, Brimelow, who managed a very dodgy touring pantomime, was paying his chorus girls only £1 per week. This was not enough to live on, and it drove some of the chorus girls into prostitution as a sideline to enable them to survive. One chorus girl, aged 18, began cohabiting with another member of the pantomime company, a man with dwarfism. In the context of the times, this was seen as particularly troubling, both because of the unmarried sexual nature of the relationship and because it was considered immoral for her to be forced into association with a man with a disability. As I said, it's necessary to set aside our contemporary moral perspectives. The Actors Association, along with 4 other theatre associations, decided to do something about this, and they approached a number of theatre venues where Brimelow's pantomime was booked to perform. No doubt through the threat of industrial action, they persuaded those venues to cancel their contracts with Brimelow. Brimelow then sued in the tort of procuring a breach of contract, but he sued in equity, trying to force the theatres to let his company perform. The nature of equity, of course, engaged the conscience of the court. Justice Russell started with the observation that interference with a man's contractual rights is actionable, but it is clear on the authorities that interference with contractual rights may be justified. He then had to decide if this was a case where interference was justified. He said, "If justification does not exist here, I can hardly conceive the case in which it would be present." Brimelow's case was dismissed, and the industrial action continued.